video, hopefully, of the ball and also individual clips we can tell you about the people. And then finally, we'll look at some of the grails that or the custom throws, signature throws that we have collected. All right. Again, for those who are watching us, this is Royal Revue. I'm waiting for our friend Derek Ross. I hadn't heard from him, so I don't know if he's tied up being an attorney. You know, they're on call, almost like a doctor. So hopefully he's, when he comes in or as soon as he can join us, and we'll go from there. Usually he is a little more responsive, but anyway, hopefully, he will participate in the show. This will be his first time seeing this stuff too, so it will be very good in that regard. So I'm looking for some paraphernalia. Here we go. Here's something. So we can. Good. As we said, tonight we are specializing in King Arthur's ball. This actually took place. I don't have the date, but not last Saturday, but the Saturday before that weekend. And so what we're going to do, like I say, we have video of the court and the queens and kings coming out. Then we're going to go back and have still pics to identify these different positions, and then have still pics of the grails. So let's talk a little bit about King Arthur. King Arthur was formed, I believe, in 1977. It had, I don't know how many members. It was originally one of our neighborhoods called the West Bank, meaning the West Bank of our Mississippi River that divides Orleans Parish, which is the central county or parish of New Orleans. It traveled there for many years. And then after Katrina, a lot of our floats or parades were centralized on the East Bank into one route. So it's following the traditional route, and it will actually be parading the Sunday before Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday is March the 1st. So it's probably February the 27th. And I've forgotten what time it starts, like 12 or 1 o'clock, about midday. It goes up Napoleon, where it starts in Britannia, goes up St. Charles Avenue to downtown, and it eventually disbands in the Warehouse District, which you may or may not know where that is. So we're hoping you'll enjoy yourself and enjoy what we're going to show. Again, not everyone gets to go to balls. It's not like the parades where anybody can go. It's free and open to the masses. This balls are by invitation only for the most part, and you either have to be a member or a friend of a member to get an invite, and it may or may not cost you. Sometimes the member has to pay, sometimes you have to pay, sometimes they're gratis. But what it is usually a semi-formal. Originally, it was always formal: black tux and white shirt and black tie, and ladies with long gowns. Nowadays, some of the crews, especially the older established crews, follow that same tradition. But a lot of the new balls are actually all-night parties. People are casual, and the party will go on, and the parade will actually sometimes come directly to the venue where they are enjoying themselves. Whereas the traditional line is actually outdoors for the entire route and then disbanding somewhere, usually downtown. Okay, there I am. And excuse the little, boy, don't I look good with a mustache, huh? I don't know if you're seeing that or not. Well, still, we've moved the studio, and that's why we're having a little concerns. What I'm wearing, if I could get it for you to see, is actually the hat representing the Merlin, who is the magician in the King Arthur court. And these were actually given away by riders to people in the streets who've come to see him. You probably can't see, there's a decoration on the cone of a gold crescent and star made out of velvet. The original year that it came out was in this color blue. Since then, they've done black ones. I don't know what's coming out this year. All that's kind of kept secret till the parade. But we wanted to put this on, and if you can see this little thing here, it's not black. That's a lanyard, and on the end of it is a cloisonné doubloon, a coin. On one side is the actual king's image, and the other side is his queen's. In this particular one, we're actually not the queen, but the wife. And this particular king, unfortunately, passed away unexpectedly last December, and was not able to return. And we'll see some of that as we see the people coming out, because the first person coming out will be the queen, and then after that, normally the king. And they sit, these are the returning king and queens, not the new ones for this year. And they sit below the platform or throne area for the new people, but they are greeted by all the court and the incoming queen and king. Because the unfortunate demise of the king by the name of James Lindsay, his queen, Jenna Fraser, will be sitting next to an empty chair. But his wife, Jamel Lindsay, his son, Chris Lindsay, and his granddaughter, Claire, will actually be there and and present his crown, his scepter, and his lanyards, and put that on the vacant chair, golden throne, next to his queen. So that'll give you a little bit idea. And then after that, we'll actually see the one by one the different court members and costumes that we want to talk about. Let's see if there's anything else. Hopefully, as we said, you can. I forgot to put up. You're more than welcome to call us if you want. Let me put up a phone number. 504-383-3654. We'd love to hear from you. Or you can, on any of the platforms that you're watching, you can make a comment. We're on Facebook, Bob Bockelman, Facebook New Orleans TV and a Network, Facebook The New Deal. We're also on our co-host Derek Ross's Facebook profile. We're on YouTube, R Revue. We're on Twitter, Bockelman Bob, reverse name. And we're on LinkedIn Live as Revue, which is our production company, and that little ant up in the corner. Okay, I think that's pretty much about it. Well, now let's talk a little more because we have time. So again, the parades, as we said, have been consolidated for the most part, to a central route, starting what we call Uptown New Orleans, and that's 44 blocks from the main central business district, which is also the borderline of the French Quarter. Okay, the parades will actually go up on the very famous St. Charles Avenue, which is a two-lane street separated by the neutral ground that actually it contains our National Historic Landmarks, the rolling streetcars that take people all the way to downtown for years since they were first implemented. We now have other streetcars that are more contemporary that are manufactured nowadays on our Main Street Canal, along the river, now on some of our side things to the parks, and those continue to expand out toward the train and bus station. So they continue to expand to afford not only reasonable, affordable transit for anyone, but also just a wonderful look as opposed to the buses that they're replacing, which originally replaced these beautiful streetcars. So people got to realize the value and the cleanliness of the streetcars versus the gas polluting buses. During the Mardi Gras parades, which run, let's talk about that. We had our first parade yesterday, but that was really unusual. Most of the parades, and we're talking about the float parades, start the Friday 2 weeks before, or 2 weekends before Mardi Gras itself. So there'll be parades that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There won't be any parade on Monday. There's a parade on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, several parades, Saturday day and Sunday day and night parades, Monday day evening parades, and then Tuesday all day long, ending with the Royal Majesty of Rex, which is the king of Mardi Gras, but also during that time, the famous Zulu parade, which we'll talk about in a while. In fact, when we're ready to do the pictures on the signature throws for King Arthur. We'll explain how that came into play and how Zulu is really almost a pioneer of that. So let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and start now, and we're going to show the actual video of the ball. Now, what we do, we have muted the background music and any noise you'll hear, so it won't be disturbing, because I will be talking over it, so that way I can announce what are the situations of the people coming out. You'll get a close-up look, as I said, after, because we'll go one by one with still pictures, which will let you see. And the reason why you want to see these magnificent feathered and jeweled costumes that are created for these balls. And this particular one has some of the prettiest. I'm going to take this off now because it's bobbing and weaving. That way you get to see the not so shiny bald head. Anyway, so as we said, that we're hoping that our co-host Derek Russ will come on, but perhaps something has happened. And he did say he was going to be available tonight. But again, many times his office calls and he has meetings, and that's just the way that life is. So we'll do our best to hold on and give you the information. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you before the situation. Like I said, we've been lucky to know the kings and the queens of some of these balls, especially this one. So that's why we're invited and get to attend the ball, as well as, of course, my friend Lynn, who will ride in the ball. And a lot of these folks will all be riding members on the day of the parade. So they get two opportunities. One, to celebrate with their families and friends at these galas, or we call balls. And then, of course, they get to do the hard work of riding the float all day for X number 3, 5, 7 hours, because they have to board and wait and stuff like that, and throwing all kinds of free souvenirs to the adoring fans who are waiting to take home as much as their greedy little hands can get for themselves and their family. Okay, well, without further ado, I'm going to tell our producer here, Lynn, why don't we go ahead and start with the video of the ball. There we go. Now, as I mentioned, this is the queen, but this is not the queen of this year's ball. This is Queen Jenna Fraser, who was the ball queen in 2020. 2020 was the last ball we had before COVID hit. So as she comes in with her beautiful self, telling people hello, and sits at her empty throne, which is on the floor of the dance floor of the court. Now, this is the deceased king's wife there on the left, his granddaughter in the center, and his son on the right. Notice that the granddaughter is placing his scepter, the wife is placing his lanyard with his gold-faced doubloon, and the son is putting his crown and rearranging the scepter. So that throne will be empty the entire evening, but the last year's queen will now be honored by each of the members that come through here as they go and take their place on the stage and where they're going to sit. Notice you're only seeing, here's the next person coming out, and we're only seeing half of the crowd. It's not even half of the crowd. This ballroom here holds thousands, I would think, and each of these tables are filled with 10 people, and it goes at least 100 to 200 of those tables, so you can see it's very crowded. Now notice from a distance, you can get an idea of how some of these costumes are bedangled. Now, this always comes out with the captain. The captain is a true organizer. It would be like the president, even though some of them have presidents, of the organization. He's responsible for PR, keeping everything going, and for the ball, for the parade. And as you notice, he has a very magnificent cloak and feathers. Look at the red feathers with the red, black, and white. And then his garment. Now, these are going to be what we would consider the queen for 2021. As we said, there was no ball, but the queen and king had already been selected. So they're actually being included, just like the queen of 2020 who's sitting there waving to them. They're acknowledging each other's presence. She's got a beautiful white and black, as you can see, costume. And she's standing, as you see right now, next to her captain in red. So it's a great contrast. Them having the red, black, and white. Now she's going up the stairs, and there'll be a series of thrones in place. Now, this would be her king. The king for 2021. As we mentioned, there was no parade and no ball because of COVID, so they're being jointly honored as well as the returning king and queen at this year's parade. So this is very unusual to have. Well, it's six. It's three queens and two queens. I'll get it. And no, three. Excuse me. And four kings. Is that right? I can't do it the rest of the anyway. So that's the king for 2020, who is noticing the similar color flowers as his queen of 2020, which you see that he's going to greet the captain after he greeted the last year's 2020 queen, and now he's mounting the stage. You can see his queen is already up there. Notice the golden thrones. Those will be, of course, for the incoming or the current king and queen. These will be stationed on each one's flank, and then we're going to be seeing maids. The maids will be in magnificent colored costumes representing different situations, and they'll be standing next to these, both the king and queen from last year. Once again, as you see, they recognize the returning queen from 2020, and this is our first maid in the pale light blue and white. Don't worry if you're not seeing them real well now, because as I mentioned, we will have still pictures after this video is over, and we'll be able to focus a lot better on the detail of all, because not only are they plenty with flowers, with feathers, I'll get the word, but they also have extreme decoration on the inner part of the feather to their surrounding their bodies. Now here's another one in a beautiful burgundy and white with some gold. Here's another maid, as you see. They honor the returning queen, and they go say hello to the captain and go take their place up on the dais, standing next to the last year's king and queen. Here comes another beautiful maid. Notice she's in pink, white, with a touch of yellow. And again, we will see it much better in the clear picture when we show after the video. Now this is lovely. Everybody loves purple and lavender, and it's truly, truly a beautiful color. So let's take a look at that. Look at all the work. So there we go. Now, there we go. Look at the back. Huh? Once again, they follow the same routine. You go and say hello to the captain. At the other side, they'd go up the steps. Here comes another one in a teal or turquoise blue. And once again, this maid will come and acknowledge the returning queen before she sees the captain and go, oh, look at the returning queen. How nice. She's giving a scepter wave or a kiss. So, can't get better than that. The wonderful heraldry and the wonderful camaraderie is developed in these membership organizations. Remember, folks, these organizations are all private, and all of this is paid for by themselves. There's no government sponsorship, commercial sponsorship, and when you see how many organizations we have, not everyone parades, but they have numerous organizations that have balls, and all that has to be paid. They have to rent these rooms, provide food, and there'll be drinks, and also they'll be dancing in it. Now, if I'm seeing correctly, the King Arthur has, I showed you I had that hat on, the Merlin hat, which was the wizard. Well, he has a wife or a cohort called Morganza. That's not her yet, sorry. Still looking at maids. I didn't realize how many we have of the maids, but see all the different colors? There's a two-tone, a blue, and some others. Well, what we're going to see when we see some more black and purple is going to be both Morganza and Merlin, the magician, and his wife, Morganza. Now let's see what this is. Unless this is the new king and queen, huh? I'm not sure. That's what we got coming out now. I thought they came out last, but they might. Let's see. Again, my bad eyes, folks, so you have to bear with me. And of course, there's a central spotlight on them. So, but looking like it's all white, which would imply it's either the queen or the king. It looks like the queen. They have a long trail for this year. So now she'll be addressing the returning queen of 2020, which is sitting right in our forefront on our right, Jenna Fraser. She'll be actually acknowledging the captain in the red, and then mounting the stairs for the throne to sit between last year's king and queen, who are in black and white and gray. Look how beautiful. Look, can you see the work? And look at the magnificent train, I always keep calling them trail. but it makes a trail. It's a beautiful train that she and I think the king will have. Now here comes the king as well. Notice he's beguiled and everything with jewels, and now see, he has a long sword because instead of a scepter, the Arthurian legend is that the king became king because he was the only person that was able to take that sword called Excalibur that was embedded in a rock. And one of the guys says, the Lady of the Lake, I believe, put it there. So here he goes. Notice he is beautiful train, and see how he's going up. He's being helped by some of the members in tux and tails to go up to his throne. And as I mentioned, looking here, you'll see the other kings and queens flanking them, and all along the sides, see the different maids will be evenly spaced out, the ones that we just saw. Now he's actually turning around and facing all of his subjects. They're arranging his train so it's visible, but hopefully it won't be true. And at some point, he and the queen will sit down. I'm not sure where that is, but yeah, the public is greeting and acknowledging, and they're all, the kings and queens are all raising their scepters and wands to acknowledge the audience. There we go. See the beautiful recognition. And usually that's a twofold thing. If you see, they'll swipe twice and turn. It's the signature way of them doing it. Because in the original environments, was in one place that was a multi-tiered level. So one swipe, one swing to the left, right to left, was for the upstairs. Now here comes the captain again. Again, this is a lively fellow. Now he's doing, let's see what he's doing with the last queen. He's bringing the queen up, I guess, to present her to His Majesty, the King and Queen of this year of King Arthur. And there she goes. There she goes, bowing or curtsying to the queen, and then doing likewise to the king. Okay, and then now she's acknowledging the king and queen of last year. And then, of course, there are all kinds of pictures, like paparazzi, all being done. So they're all posing. Now she's coming on back down with the help of the captain. Remember, the captain is the whole coordinator, like the director of operations during this event. He makes sure everything goes on time and everyone's accommodated and recognized. And he's usually a very benevolent person, very happy-go-lucky and extremely. Oh, she almost took the queen with her. Huh? There we go. A little humor for everybody. His feathers were so big when he made that curve. Now, we're skipping. After some more of the pageant, there were other people come out and maybe there's actually dancing, as you can see, contemporary dance. There's music, sometimes by DJs and our bands, because this goes on to the wee hours of the morning. There's also a meal that's served. It's sometimes as early as 11 o'clock, sometimes as late as 1 o'clock. There they go. Then they're doing that, all those contemporary dances. I'm sure if you're in the audience, you recognize going on. And now they're coming off the floor. All right. And there's a thing called the second line, which is unique to New Orleans, where they'll swirl their handkerchiefs, and they also carry parasols, and there's a band, a traditional song that they sing in their handkerchiefs. These happen all over the city, all during the year, not just Mardi Gras, especially now at weddings, special events, where people will strike up a second line. It's basically like a conga line for those who are really old, but not done single file. Done in twos. It doesn't have to be organized. It's just dancing and celebrating the thing that went ahead of it. Okay? Now, there we are again. So there we were. That was, now again, folks, we only saw we condensed the film. We originally had 40 minutes of the pageant, or what they call the tableau, but we condensed it down to 12 because we have other things to show you and to talk about. And especially, as we said, because the quality of the photography, because of the tremendous lights that are focused spotlights on these wonderful court members, don't always allow photographers to have fantastic pictures. But still pictures do a lot better job because you can get closer and work around those lights. And so what we're going to do in a little bit is actually bring up the pictures, still pictures one by one, and I will tell you the people, if I know their names, I'll tell you their names and their position or title or place in the court for King Arthur. Again, folks, if you wish to call us, ask any questions, 504-383-3654. Any question, but where's Derek? I can't answer that one. I was hoping he'd be here. And like I say, he knows he has an invitational link to come on at any point that he comes in, and we'll be glad to bring him up. Besides the phone, comment. We were looking for comments. Any comments you want to give us on your platform that you're following us the show on? Questions, answers, or say hello, anything you want to entertain. So we will continue. As we said, what we've just seen is the video of the predominant cast of characters in the King Arthur Ball from the Queen of 2020 before the COVID hit, the King and Queen from the 2021, which had no ball or no parade, and then the current King and Queen of 2022. So we have a lot of the major players, the celebrities, if you want to call it for this, in one suite, in one particular ball, which is quite unusual. Usually it's only the current and the previous. But here we have 3 levels, and that's because of nasty COVID, which hopefully our viewers are recovering from or haven't gotten yet if they've been lucky enough. All right. Well, let's see if Leonard's ready. Then he'll bring up, and we'll actually start looking at here we go. Let's see if we can, thought we could do something about the background. There we go, full screen. All right. If you remember, we were talking about this is the entrance of the first person of the court, and that is what we would call the returning queen. Now, again, her queenship was in February. I don't know, remember the date, but let's say February of 2020, right before COVID hit, because Mardi Gras kind of was labeled as a super spreader because Corona wasn't known here at that point until slightly after Mardi Gras, when all of a sudden it hit the fan. But she comes out first. You saw her as she marched down, and then she will take a place on a smaller throne on the main dance floor leading up to the raised dais or platform where the other kings and queens and maids are located. So her name is Jenna Fraser, and she's from Texas. And the reason why she's from Texas is because her king, who we mentioned is deceased, was a bi-coastal. He lived in Texas originally, but he also was married to the lady you saw who lives in New Orleans. So he was not bi-coastal, I don't know what they call it, metropolitan, I don't know what they call it. But anyway, so that's Jenna Fraser. She's a really good friend. She was a long time ago. She was in California, not DJ. What do you call those people on radio star in California before she met her husband at that time, and he, of course, was from Texas, and so that's how that situation began. She loves being queen. She's been queen in other balls. And so she loves wearing her crowns and loves to come to New Orleans. She's in 3 parades along with all my friends. Actually, we marching, riding. I'll get her in the parades. So if you recognize her, if you see the King Arthur parade, that's for Jenna. I don't think she has a special float. I'm not sure. The new king and queen will certainly have a separate individual float, but the returning one might return to the normal floats with the other friends and members of her. Okay, let's see. So that's the returning queen. Now, as we mentioned, her king of 2020 passed away unexpectedly last December. So his wife, which is to his left, that's Jamel Lindsay, his granddaughter, Claire Lindsay, and who also has a sister, Aubrey, who did not come at this point, and her father, Chris Lindsay, who's the son of Jim, are actually bringing 3 items that he used during his reign, when he actually was on the float, etc., all last year. And that, of course, is his crown, just like Queen Jenna had one. He has a crown. The young lady has his scepter or sword, and then his wife has a lanyard which has his gold figure, both himself and his queen. And they if you remember in the video, they actually presented it and placed it on the vacant throne chair next to his queen, Jenna Fraser. Okay, very nice tribute, something we've not experienced. All right, as we mentioned, this is the liveliest person in the cruise, and he's there every year. The captain usually stays the same unless he eventually passes on or gives it up. It's not a role that they want to take lightly because he's so responsible and such the ambassador for each carnival crew. And you can see his costume is just really magnificent. The red, black, and white. Notice that the actual tunic is very much like a King Arthur, like a soldier or a knight that represents, what they would wear. Besides chainmail, they also wore those type of outfits with the white and black diamonds. I forgot what it's called. I can't think. But notice he also has the great symbols. Look at those fabulous faces on each side. I wish I knew what they're for. One looks like a skull, or maybe they're both skulls. But can you imagine, folks, the work that it takes? These things aren't done overnight. They worked on many times all year round to create, especially when you're creating a whole ball's worth of costumes like we're seeing tonight. So that is the captain. He always, now he's going to precede the other king and queen. Let's see what we have next. Okay, this, as we mentioned, is the unusual situation of having a queen from last year, which would be still the returning queen, but from a ball that she never experienced nor parade. But we certainly don't want to omit her or her king and want to celebrate them as well, along with the prior years and the current years. Notice how beautiful her black, white, and gray, whatever you call this piece. It's her headpiece. That's a good word, Bob. Headpiece. And just beautiful, huh? And with her blonde hair, shows up in a magnificent outfit. So that would be the returning queen of 2021. All right, let's see. Do we have a king that goes with that? Yes. Look at this bedazzled guy, huh? He's got heavy blacks, a really great looking tunic with a robe, and that same background with the black and white and gray feathers. Really, really nice. Of course, he has a crown just like the queen, and he has a scepter or a sword that you can see that he's pointing with his right hand. So that's the returning king of 2021. Let's go ahead and move on, and we're going to look at another character. The Maids. As we said, we're anxious to have these close-ups of the Maids. Not only you can see their attractive selves, but again, the magnificence of their costumes. Look at the gorgeous light blue feathers and the white trim all around it. I mean, just they're not. I can't think of that design, but not almost like a paisley, the white symbol, but shows off so beautiful and then coordinated so well with her gown in the same colors. So there's one of our maids, maid number one. Let's see if we can see another. This one is so vibrant. What happened? There we go. This one was so bright. Not only the blue, royal blue. I'm not sure it's royal. Can't think of the name. I don't know all the different colors, but so vibrant. And then to throw in the pink highlights, and then the white and the gold and the green, just magnificent. Don't you think, folks? And this one really stands out. It was one of my favorites of the maid costumes. All right, let's move on to another. Now, this is the opposite. Instead of being the light pastels we've been seeing, this is the dark, the burgundies with gold and white and some gray. But look at those magnificent feathers, and her costume is really, her dress is just magnificent. So formal and really, really pretty. So a welcome, nice change to the variety of the pastel colors that we've seen so far. But let's move on to another maid. Again, back to the pastels. Look at this beauty. Pinks with white and gold. Isn't that exquisite? Once again, you're seeing beautiful pinks and with those white whatever again those decorations are. We call them like ironwork, almost like our wrought ironwork. Beautifully done, but then offset by this magnificent gold headpiece, which is really part of that sits on her shoulders, because she has to, all that's affixed, and they have to carry that on. They have these harnesses that they have to put around their neck with straps, etc., because these headpieces are so heavy and cumbersome. And then she has the coordinated outfit, And really, really pretty. The pink is the pink maid. Let's see which one's next. What color is next? Oh, purple. As I mentioned, as we said, purple, gold, and green are the colors of Mardi Gras, and each one means a different something. But this one doesn't have the green to what I can see with my bad eyes. But the purple and the gold stand out so pretty, huh? Look at the feathers around there, and then the very magnificent banners, the pendants that are hanging from the swords or whatever that is up there, and then the other things on our shoulder. Really well done, and the coordinating design running down the front of her gown in the purple with that same silver. Very, very striking, I would say, for a darker color. Let's move on and see what else we got. Okay, here's another shade of blue. This, I guess, would be, I call either the turquoise or the teal. I think they call it teal. I really like not only the color, the teal, but also the great shields. Do you see the shields of the different knights? One's across, well, both of them are crossed, sort of like the Crusaders during the Crusades, who would wear the cross supposedly for the religion, to fight religion against people who were the adversaries. But a beautiful turquoise or teal color with the white and the silver, really, really well done. But those accents are really nice on the flowers. They really stand out. Okay, let's see another color. I think we have a couple more. Is that it? Okay. This is, as we said, this is not a maid per se. This is the wife of Merlin the magician, who was the right hand of the King Arthur in the legend and would help him get a lot of things done because of his ability to do magic. And this is his escort or wife, and she's called Morganza. And they're always in black as part of their deal, accented with purple. So very, very striking once again. Beautiful purple, gold, and black, a little bit of white. And notice that she has a staff that she and her husband will use instead of using a sword or a scepter. Now let's see her partner in crime, Merlin. Look at this. Wow, even more dynamite. Look how dark those black feathers are, and then offset with just a trace of purple instead of being as much purple as the female. And then the costume to be heavily purpled on the main throw with just the black being on the jacket, and also that piece that hangs down, that frontispiece, whatever it's called. Again, he's got his scepter. Really cool, huh? Okay. I'm not sure if that's it. Let's see. Do we have any more pictures? No. How can I? Last but not least, second to last but not least, this is the current queen of 2022. This is Her Majesty, as you see. That she's all in white. They always are in white with gold, maybe some silver or gray, hard to see, but just real elaborate. White and silver, it looks like. And just really so much work, huh? Along the dress as well. The front piece carries on that same, the amount of work in that, in the headpiece. Look how close together all the engravings or the embroidery is. Just phenomenal. And a lot of these you can't see that are embedded with semi-precious jewels as well. It's not just ornamentation like with cloth, etc. All right, let's see, probably last but not least, as I was trying to say, His Majesty's. We wanted to give you a good look at up close of the train. As we say, each one has a long train that they have courtesans, pages as they call them, that keep them in line as they walk and parade around, because they parade around the entire dance floor before they actually go up to take their place on the platform where their throne is. But you can see how magnificent. So it's it's just something that usually is not done that much anymore. In the old days, all the brides had those, but even today, the trains or anything they have, very few are having this extended, certainly with this embellishment like they have here. But now let's see if we're going to see. I think we're going to see finally His Majesty the King. There he is of 2022. Notice he has, I think those are swords. You see the handles of the sword pointing inward, again within that ornamentation. Notice he has a beautiful necklace of gold. I guess that's gold medallions, I would imagine. He's got his golden crown, of course, and his scepter or sword. So, and notice that if you look to the right and the back, they both have trains. It's not exclusive to the female, to the queen. They both have corresponding trains that accompany and, like I say, attach to that magnificent headpiece, and has to be. Sometimes the young pages will carry one on each end as they walk. Sometimes they'll just make sure that it doesn't tangle up because they're not supposed to be allowed to fold or to get tangled. So that's the page's responsibility. Okay, I think that's our last picture. Is that right? Yes, I think so. So there we are again. His Majesty with Mr. Mustache. Who is that? Pierre, whatever his name is. I can't even think the French guy. My old mind can't claim much anymore. The dementia is so bad. I can open my eyes. Look at that. I have black eyes. Wow. Beautiful. So it matches to my mustache. All right, folks. This is Bob Bockelman. We have been looking at the King Arthur Ball for 2022, which just happened 2 Saturdays ago. Okay. And this was held, most of the balls nowadays are held in ballrooms or huge auditorium rooms of hotels usually in our main city downtown. This was held in the Hyatt. The Hyatt is attached to the Superdome, and it's a huge hotel, thousands of rooms in the shape of either a cross or an X, depending on, with all tinted windows. It's just a wall of glass, 34, 40 feet high of glass for each window. So when you have a room there, you see floor to ceiling glass looking out over our whole city. You can either be facing the river, you can face the east, the west, or you can be facing our Superdome. Just got a note from Derek. I'm hoping he can come on. It went quickly, so he's got the invitation. I'm not sure if he's saying he can come on or he just got out of the meeting he's in. If we see him, we certainly will bring him on, and I'm hoping he is watching this or hears this so he can come on and we can talk as well. What we're going to do for the rest of the evening, of course, is talk more about the ball and then focus on things what we're calling customized or signature throws. And these are things that are individually created for the members, by the members themselves usually, although some people actually hire people out, artisans, to make that because that's how important it is to them. They're allowed to throw off the float 2 dozen of these customized signature throws. Now, for King Arthur, I think we might have mentioned, let's talk a little bit about originally, Mardi Gras, as you may or may not, started in the late 1800s. And some of the earliest throws were beads. And to this day, beads are a mainstay. And we say beads. In the old days, some were ceramic, some of them were glass. And then the advent of plastic, making them commercially feasible in all different shapes, colors, and sizes, both as necklaces and bracelets, were thrown predominantly. That was the predominant throw for 30, 40 years. Then, in 1961, Rex, the King of Mardi Gras, which is the significant parade on Mardi Gras Day, Fat Tuesday, which would be March 1st, invented the doubloon. The doubloon is a coin, and just like you saw some for the king and the queen, they always did these for their member, for their court, would get significant doubloons for the parades. But they did not give them to any of the people, any of the members, or any of the outside on the parade route. So they came up with an idea of commercializing the doubloons and sending them en masse. So in 1961, they created a very inexpensive anodized aluminum doubloon with the King of Rex. He has a profile silhouette of a stylized king that is used as their logo on one side, and the back side usually would include the theme of the parade, the date, etc. of that Mardi Gras. So it became a tremendous success. All right? So much so that each of the crews were setting, and they were magnifying them by doing them multiple colors. It just proliferated for years. Very collectible, and sometimes actually had value, if you can believe that. Nowadays, they're not really. People have these big collections, but for the most part, it's just strictly reminiscent of memories, something like that. Not of any particular value. The one exception to that thing was early on in 1911, I think Derek told us, he was kind enough, the Zulu. Remember we talked a little bit about Zulu. What is Zulu? Zulu is predominantly an African American parade. It parades on the same day as Rex. It's founded by their organization, the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club. Now, what is that social aid? Social aid was many of their members would actually be provided with benefits, whether it was health benefits, life benefits, maybe even housing or food. So it was really a wonderful membership reward to the community members who joined. Plus pleasure, they got together for all type of social events. And some of these social events, even today, and all the other organizations, are fundraisers to help promote their good works, as well as to help pay for these expensive parades that they're putting on for the community, totally free to the community. They came up, because it's an African American predominantly based organization, most of the members are African American. That makes sense, of course, but they are all inclusive and allow all nationalities. The key here, which is somewhat controversial, is that they have to be in blackface. Today, that's not appropriate or that's not woke. They have to wear blackface with the white circles on the eyes and also around the lips. And they wear a grass tutu, which is predominantly like bamboo or something like that, light wheat. I don't know, but it's not grass, literally grass. And they wear black tights. So they look like warriors and natives of Africa, as we stereotypically envision them. And that has been since day one. They continue that same tradition, even though some people of all nationalities criticize that look for today. But it's one of the most sought after parades to be in. To be able to get into that parade is highly sought after, and especially if you're Caucasian or another nationality. They developed something that's so coordinated with their outfits and their theme. They would take real coconuts, spray them black for blackface, and put the corresponding white ringlets for eyes and a mouth circle. And as we said, nowadays they learn, because people have collected these way back since 1911. And if you really had a real coconut and you kept it that long, it's probably all rotten. You can see it deteriorates. So what they learn now is they have sanitized them, and they actually drill holes and drain the coconut water or juice or milk out so it won't rot. It'll stay forever. They've also expanded, because so many people want them, and it's a mighty chore to make these things, that they've even created plastic ones that look like that to expand their throwing volume. But anyway, that was the premier, besides the doubloon, signature throw. But the problem with that is now the Zulu ones were different, because they would decorate them with different feathers, try and make each one customized. The doubloons were not. They always were the same, or they were a different color, but they were the same doubloon. Well, in 2000, let's say 13, 14, I'm not sure, we started, and once again, for years, traditionally, this is very controversial, the Mardi Gras crews were predominantly male, Caucasian dominated. With the advent of integration, that caused a ruckus, but allowed inclusion that it should be. Now, the only exception to that was Zulu, which was all, or predominantly all, African American. So that was the first thing. But there were very few, if all, female crews. Okay, some of them would allow females to come on, but they'd put them on a separate float at the back of the parade or something. Still kind of dominated by the males, which is, of course, it's not a healthy thing. So after Katrina, all of a sudden, some of the ladies' organizations decided to create very large female empowerment. So they came up with the idea of creating signature throws based on their idea, or their theme, or their brand. Hey, that's a good word. The very first one, a female, was called Muses. It parades, I believe, on the Thursday night of the weekend before Wednesday. Well, Thursday. And they came up with the idea, what's more common for ladies, especially in the old days, was purses. Ladies had to have a purse, whether it's a minutia thing up to some gargantuan thing. So each of their members were constrained to decorate 24 purses differently. Now, they weren't mandated, but you could never do more than 24 that you could throw out. You could do others, but you would have to give them out other than the parade to your friends or anyone else, but not through the parade day. So these ladies became so creative. Some of them developed workshops, magnificent creations embellished with sequins, paint, jewels, feathers. And you're going to see, well, we're not going to see those tonight. We'll see that another time because I have samples of those that we've collected. The next one to follow suit, and these crews became very large, thousands of ladies. I got it wrong, as usual. My friend Len corrected me. I'm old. Muses was incorrectly labeled as purses. They are shoes, and I should have realized that. They took the original shoe, the high-heeled pump, stilettos, all and sneakers, and decorated them accordingly. So just remember, it's shoes for muses. The next night, which is kind of reversed, is now called Nicks, and they are the ones who did the purses. Okay, but again, each one of these things are pieces of art, so people collect them, thrive them, just like they did originally for the doubloons and still do for the coconuts. Because what's good about these is that you're rarely going to see a near like thing for that parade, or they're basically unique. So it makes it very customized, a signature to you, the receiver. Okay. They went on, so now almost every parade has some signature items. King Arthur, which we're going to show you momentarily, came up with the idea, something appropriate to them, and what better thing is a goblet, or which they call a GRAIL. Now, we're not talking about a wine glass. Some of those people, some of the ladies, other groups have glasses, wine glasses, etc. This is a goblet. Now, of course, they don't want to throw glass because anybody can get hurt, it can shatter. So they take manufactured plastic goblets coming in either gold or silver or maybe even white. But very few keep that color. That's just the base color. Then they will paint over that, glitter that, decorate it accordingly with either theme of the entire parade, the organization, or their individual float. So we're going to show you, as soon as Len gets up the pictures, we're going to show you the collection of pictures. Here we go. Of GRAILs. Can we get them up, Len? Oh, we frozen. Here we go. Okay, folks, I'm not sure if you're hearing me. I hope you are. We're waiting patiently for the pictures to come up. All right, I'm hoping you hear me. I can't get feedback, so I don't know. There's the first one, which is King Arthur, and it's done in purple, green, and gold. It's a shield. I'm trying to see if we can move forward. Leonard? There we go. You should be able to hear me now. Look how pretty this one is. Notice it's done in purple, and it also has silver and black. And I can't read. If you can read that, good for you. You've got good eyes. There's some symbols and also probably some dates. Let's see if we can move on. I think I can move on to the next one for you. This one is beautiful. It has a silver cast, and notice it's embedded with jewels. You see the jewels? But if you get up close, it's got more than that. It's multiple colors. And again, maybe you can see that closer on your screen than I can here. Here it almost blends into a goldish silver finish, but I think it has multiple colors that are sprayed or painted on before they applied the magnificent jewels and all the symbols. There's a cross in the center, I think, and anyway, hopefully you can see it. Let's see if we move on to another one. Okay, here's one that Len has done. King Arthur, notice XLIII 2020. So this was the last time they paraded, as we mentioned, right before COVID hit. Notice this one is just done in all purple, solid purple. Also has the date on it and a label on it with the name. Now, one thing we didn't mention that Len does, the inside of the goblet or the GRAIL is also glittered with, and he has different types of glitter, very fine glitter, like I would say this one is, to very chunky, which is my favorite glitter. But he will decorate, and you see the one next to it is in three colors, purple, gold, and green. So these are some that, and this was from 2020 that he handed out. Okay, Lennon, let's move on to another one. Okay, here's another one. This is 2021. Now, remember, well, Bob, you said we had no parade, no ball. That's true. So Len wanted to keep in the spirit of things because they didn't know what was happening. So if you notice that this particular decoration on the goblet in the gold with the fleur-de-lis in purple is actually representative of a COVID mask. You see the two little white things that go over the ears. So that was recognition of the COVID parade that didn't happen. KA for King Arthur, 2021. So it was very ingenious of him. Of course, he didn't make hundreds of these because he couldn't give them out, but wanted to make a few that would represent Mardi Gras for the year that these things were not given out because there was no parade. Okay, let's move on. He has the same kind of parade done a little differently, gold with the purple mask. See, again, this is 2021 with the COVID mask and then the gold on the fleur-de-lis with the green writing. So we still purple, gold, and green. Let's move on. This is a sneak preview for these folks now. Notice 2022. Okay, his current, this is going to give away a little bit of thing. This particular, he's done several to honor the Beijing Olympics. As you know, I think that's starting this weekend or next weekend. So that's what this represents. That's the Olympic rings, which is really cool because, this will probably not be done by anyone else because the theme of the parade is nothing to do per se with the Olympics, but it's about travel or things all around the world. So what more relevant than the Beijing Olympics? All right, let's move on to another one. I think he has done several versions of this. The other one is one of the countries represented, of course, is Japan. So he's taken the red sun, and those two hieroglyphics or characters are actually, say, Japan in Japanese in their language, in their written language, with again KA 2022. And you see he's done several of those. And those will probably have red glitter on the inside, which we may or may not see. I think we've done, near the end, we've shown some of the insides of some of these. So that's the Japan. Now, his float is not Japan, so don't look for don't think you're going to see him on a Japan float, but they might be a Japan float. I don't know. Okay, let's see what else. There you go. That's the Japan GRAIL. Notice, and this one is in color with beautiful red to go with the match the symbol of the moon or the sun from Japan. Really makes it, and that's you notice that looks more like the heavy-duty GRAIL, which I call the thick or the clustery GRAIL, but maybe not. It's hard to tell, but I like it because it stands out a lot more. The matte finish is pretty, a little more delicate, but this really looks good. All right, let's see another one. I think we have a few more, folks. Oh. Again, this is similar. Beijing, done with the green liner. Notice it's green. So we have red, green. I think we got a couple more colors, which of course coordinate with there's blue, coordinate with the ring colors. If you notice, those are your typical Olympic ring colors. So he's taken each one of those and put it in the inside as well to coordinate this. So that makes them really unique, even in the ones that he's done that all look alike with regard to the Beijing Olympic rings. All right, anything else? I think we have a few more. One more, and that's the black. There's a black ring. I never did know that until I saw him do these up close. But besides blue, there's a black. Back to the first one, we noticed that the difference, you couldn't see the inside. See, that's that heavy gold crusting of glitter that lines the inside of this purple, gold, and green shield representing King Arthur. This is one of the early days. Now, this one is beautiful. This one is... It kind of looks like pink and black, but once again, the pink is like multicolored if you get up close. But it's absolutely beautiful. And the black has kind of a matte, almost a charcoal gray. So it's like multicolors put together, but kind of resembling two colors only. And I think we may have the inside of this one coming up. I'm not sure. Let's see what's... Yeah, notice there's again the black with the heavy glitter. So it shines a lot more. The other one's a little matte when you use the fine glitter. Okay, we have any more? This is one of my favorites. Now, this is black and gold. What does that got to do with Mardi Gras? It doesn't. It has to do with our Saints, New Orleans football team, which, of course, is relished by the entire community. We're in a state of flux right now. We've lost our quarterback retired, and we've just lost our coach who retired. So we're in a rebuilding phase. But you see black and gold all over. So why not include it in the King Arthur goblets, even though it's not a Mardi Gras color? And because I love this one, because it's all heavily crusted with the thick glitter, it's really one of my top favorites. All right, I think, is that it, or we have one or two more? That's, again, looking inside so you see the whole effect. Really makes it pretty. Now, you can do anything with these guys. You know, you can make them into flower planters for the, now you can't drink out of them, but you can certainly use them to decorate further. And a lot of the people will take, Len is pretty much a purist, by just working within the confines of the GRAIL or the goblet or the vessel. But a lot of the other people will fill. Some of them, there's a lady who does them. They basically become table decorations. So all the center is filled with all kinds of stuff, flowers, fauna, you name it, stuffed animals. But they can decorate on the outside. They have creatures. One cute one a few years ago, a guy did R2D2. If that's, I get mixed up with, yeah, 3CP. I don't know which one's which, but R2D2, which is the little robot. And it was really cute. So I put a dome on it and did it all in those colors, and it was really cute. But there's all different things. That's what makes it so unique to these organizations, that they will take a common denominator and create unique items for such. And folks, we've gone a little bit over. I hope you don't mind. But we wanted to show everything to you that relate to the ball and something to look forward to the parade. So, if you have the pleasure and luxury of attending the King Arthur Parade, that will be the Sunday before Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is Fat Tuesday, March 1st. So it will be the 27th of February. I believe the parade starts about 12:01. As we mentioned, uptown on Napoleon, St. Charles comes down, goes on Canal Street, turns, and dissembles down by the, almost by the Superdome. So Len, I give it away. Len is on, I believe, float 17. Okay. And he likes to be always at the top and the back. So if you can remember that, yell for Len, and maybe you'll get lucky and get one of the, you'll get something. Definitely a throw, but whether or not you'll get a wonderful goblet or GRAIL, I can't guarantee that, depending on what part of the parade, how many he has left. All right, folks, we really want to thank you for coming back to us and watching us. We didn't get any comments or calls. I'm always disappointed there because, it makes us feel good that you have some interest beyond just watching the picture. I know you don't enjoy hearing me talk, but hopefully I am able to impart some information, some of it incorrect, as you've seen, but with corrections. Uh, we plan on continuing. As you know, the show is usually on Thursday nights. So we hope to have one again this Thursday. Again, I got to find out what Derek's availability is. And I don't know which parade or how we'll specialize what we're doing on Thursday. But until Mardi Gras is over, we will try and continue doing the Thursday night 7 o'clock series pertaining to Mardi Gras. And as you may or may not know, I periodically will do something during the day by myself on Mardi Gras on the talk show Rant Revue. So if you see me come up, if you follow us or subscribe, would love you to subscribe to our channel, R-Revue in YouTube, because you'll always know about and have a permanent link so you can watch any of the shows going back to 2000 when I was on TV, as well as the internet. And, we have so many shows, not just these ones. We have on chefs, we have on authors, artists, beautiful artist paintings and sculpture. Anyway, enough of the self-promotion, Bob. Thank you again for watching. We're going to say goodnight. Laissez le bon temps rouler, which doesn't necessarily mean anything to do with Mardi Gras. Happy Mardi Gras. And hopefully you'll see us on later this week and any of the other shows. Don't hesitate to follow us because we've got some new ones coming up on not even on Mardi Gras. Take care and thank you again. Good seeing you.